May is National Building Safety Month. It's also time for spring cleaning and getting your property in shape for the summer. Joining us with some timely advice and reminders are two authorities from Boston's Inspectional Services Department, Building Inspector Dave Johnson and the Supervisor of the Electrical Division, Steve McCarthy. Thank you both very much for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
I want to start with Dave. Talk about this time of year, checking around, making a list. What should people be thinking about?
What I encourage people to do in the springtime is to do an inspection of their home, inside and outside. Develop a list of priorities, and when they're selecting a contractor, make sure they're licensed and bonded and insured. Those are the key elements of having a successful year repairing your home. What else can I share?
Well, I think the other thing is that, after the winter, you might notice that the weather has taken a toll on the property, too.
Yes, you're talking about snow loads in the winter time, so you want to prepare your property for the winter, putting things away, the grills and items that may be in the backyard, but also prepare, make sure your handrails are all operational and they're working nice and tight. Make sure the porches are safe and items are put away safely. So those are the things that people can do.
Steve, what about some electrical problems that people might not even realize are problems?
A big thing that happens is people look around and they find that the trees are growing around their power lines, and they really want to check that and have a professional come in and trim those trees. Don't try to do it yourself. You could be shocked or electrocuted.
Because this is another time when people might be revving up their air conditioners. What should they be looking for?
Well, with their air conditioner, you want to make sure that there's no brush around it that's going to be sucked inside, and make sure that the conduits and wiring methods that feed the air conditioner are intact. And if you can see conductors, there's a problem, and you should call a professional to fix that. Also, the disconnecting means that are on the outside of the house, make sure those are secured and locked so little kids don't get into that.
What about visible wires?
Visible wires,
why that's a concern.
The jacket on the raceways that feed the equipment, that's there to protect you from being in contact with the wiring that's inside of it. If that's broken and you can see it, there's a problem, and you should definitely take steps to mitigate that.
Dave, talking about getting ready for the summer, I know a lot of people also might be revving up their grills, and I have to tell you, I live in a neighborhood with lots of old wood frame homes, and I've seen some of those grills on porches.
Well, that's illegal according to Article 1. I believe it's Article 1, Code 105 or 106, I believe it is, with the Boston Fire Department. That is illegal to have charcoal or propane systems on your porches, three-deckers, back porches, too close to the building. So we like to have it away from the building, so should something happen, it's not going to ignite the building on fire.
What about decks?
Same things with decks. I don't recommend it. I'd rather see the grill away from on dirt or some type of patio. Same thing can happen. A fire can break out, and if the wood is combustible, we got a problem.
And I do remember in the same neighborhood, one of those decks actually collapsed when a bunch of people were on it.
Yes, that's the other part that we encourage folks to do is when summer comes along, inspect your decks, inspect your porches, make sure there's nothing loose. If you look up at your joists and you see items separating, that's a cause where you should get a professional come in and take a look at it.
Steve, what about people doing electrical work? So sometimes it's not even a repair. They might want to put in some new lighting or something, and they know a handyman or a woman who can do it. What should they be concerned about?
Well, you want to make sure that, number one, they're a licensed electrician and they are adept at what they're trying to do. Some people are trained at one thing and they couldn't do residential work, or vice versa. Also, you want to make sure that they have a license, they get a permit, that they're easy to get, very, very easy to get, and make sure they give you a written contract.
Well, why is it so important? Because somebody says, yeah, you got to pay a fee for this, or they might charge more, but talk about how this can make a difference in terms of safety in a person's home.
The average homeowner knows nothing about electrical installations and what has to be done to perform to the current code. for a very nominal fee. Our fee schedule is very, very low in Boston. You get a trained professional that comes out and makes sure that you're getting what you paid for. It's the best consumer protection you can pay for.
Dave, talk about dealing with contractors. Let's say you've got one of these older homes and it's time to put on another new roof. What's the right way to go about that?
Well, I recommend homeowners or even commercial buildings to have folks get 3 bids from 3 licensed contractors. Like I said, make sure they're bonded and certified. These are tools to make sure that the homeowner is getting what they're paying for and their license and their bond. So if something happen, you're covered with the insurance.
And of course, the other thing about a contract, some people might say, oh my gosh, I got to read all that. Why should they?
I think it's very important to read the fine print and the detail that the language that you agree to, the service they're going to provide, the section of the roof, the complete roof, those details, what type of shingles are they going to clean up after after the construction. So these little things in the agreement is very, very important, according to the contract.
And a thing that might not be so little is what if 6 months later you find, oh my gosh, there's some water still ponding on my roof. What am I going to do about that? I guess that has to be addressed.
Yes, so that's why you have to have a very good contractor that's been around, and that's why it's important to get 3 bids from 3 reputable contractors that you can get a hold of.
Finally, Steve, a couple of words of advice about things that people can handle on their own and things that require a professional. I mean, because somebody say, well, a smoke alarm, I can do that.
Well, they really can't by Mass General law. They can't do any wiring.
They can do the battery change.
They can change the battery. They can do that sort of thing. They can walk around the house and make sure that everything looks good. If you can see conductors, something's wrong. You have to call a professional for that. They can check their cords, make sure the cords aren't old and cracked and frayed. They're dangerous when they're like that. It's time to get a new cord if that's the fact.